Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning here if you're on the East Coast. Let's see. So, what I have here, I have a lot of interesting things I've been looking at. And is it currently, oh, we're almost at the complete full moon. And as you can see here, we had kind of a little bit of a run up to the full moon. All right. The full moon actually allowed me to kind of like maybe recalibrate this one particular transit I had. This is a Uranus transit. Looked very interesting to me. Um, and yeah, I thought it was gonna get. I had a little higher. It was like up here, but anyway. So Bitcoin did not, and like it liked the idea of the full moon, but then like the actual full moon, it was kind of like. Yeah, I need to say this better. The actual full moon, it was kind of like, you know what, I'm not. I don't think I'm into it. This is the full moon right here at 7. Actually, it's actually more like 7:15. Let's see. I just kind of, now that I'm on the 15-minute, I can dial it in a little better. Maybe it goes up right on the full moon, who knows? Um, but I've been drawing a lot of these lines, and a lot of them are pointing up. Like, look at this, guys. This is like June. This is July. All right. And look at this one right here. This is one that I totally projected. All right. It's a Saturn transit. It is Saturn transiting I think it's square Uranus. So it's a square, but squares can often be like ups. And I think I looked at the last time Saturn squared Uranus, right? Because it did this earlier, like in January or something. Let's see where we at. Uh-oh. Squinched it. All right. So let's look at this. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down a little. See that? It was back here. No, February. Not January. Yeah. Did I say January? Yeah, here we go. See, this was in February when Saturn squared Uranus. It was like, what was that? That was that fifth. That was like really close. It was like on the way up. In fact, yeah, look at that. It was right before that huge hike. The huge hike that came out of nowhere. The first one, we were like, we were so still in awe of like this for that 40,000 mark, and then it just like skyrocketed past it right after that Saturn square Uranus. But what I did was I took this triangle, and even its downside even makes sense. That's other stuff that made it even higher. So I took it over here. Look at this. I made it the same angle. 50 degrees, 54. That's 45 actually. That should be higher. Anyway, 50 degrees, 52. Sometimes I draw sloppy. You notice how the back leg of that is kind of shorter? It's because it's a retrograding action. And they're like, one is moving, they're moving at each other. It's different speeds. So, but also there's something interesting right around that day. If you look in the progress chart of Bitcoin, you see this sucker. Look at that guy. Look at that. That's super cool. That's like almost a, I mean, that is pretty much a mystic rectangle. I don't know why it doesn't draw the opposition points as well. I mean, it's the nodes. It's the nodes lining up with the progressed Bitcoin nodes. Like that's a pretty cool. That happens right there. Look, that's 7 in the morning on the 14th. All right. Now here we have the Uranus square right there, 1308 with Uranus. I mean the Saturn Uranus square right there. We have 13. These are the outer wheel is the transits. All right. The inner wheel is the Bitcoin secondary progression. Um, 1305. I think that's not even exact. Is it 1308? It's interesting. Why does it say it's exact there? Oh, because I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at the, yeah, and then that happens later. 1307, 07. There. June 14th, 21. Basically June 15th. Why do I have this like slightly off then? What is that what not what that is? Maybe I just drew it. Like I said, sometimes I draw a little sloppy. I'm drawing so many lines. I stayed up like really late last night. I pretty much spent all day yesterday doing this. Like obsessively. I keep missing my camera. But then we have this giant Triforce over here. The Triforce of Neptune, you know. You know, Triforce, Zelda, Legend of Zelda reference for video game nerds out there. This is a Neptune retrograde. So I was studying the Saturn retrograde. I was talking about it for like a week or two. Like I should have been on here talking about it more. I only did a little bit, but like in my personal life, people were starting to ask me who know me and I talk about doing this. They're like, "Well, what should I buy? Is it a good time to buy?" And they were asking me about that like up here. Because when things are high, people start to get the FOMO. Like it went down here, like that, like oh no, that's as far as it's gonna go down, and that's just gonna go up more. People start getting the FOMO. Like, should I buy it? Is it about to go up some crazy number? And I'm just like, I don't know. I kept saying for a minute, I was like, everybody, I was like, I don't know. Saturn retrograde is like happening like at the end of the month, like the third week. I don't know. I think it's going to go down. It's like it's on like the 13th degree, like in perfect semi-sextile with the Bitcoin sun. It's like I was like, eh. It's like when Saturn like makes like direct angles to things that are significant, like the sun. It's like it could be like building it up, or it could be like crushing it down. Like Saturn is kind of a jerk like that. It can really like put you on the public stage. It rules the 10th. It rules Capricorn, whose home is in the 10th house of the public image. So sometimes I've seen some Saturn transits, like for instance Saturn square Uranus. But that's different. That's like Saturn transiting Uranus. That's Saturn to the sky. It's not Saturn to the chart. When Saturn like comes like directly at you, not like transiting other things in the sky, then it's usually a challenge. And when that semi-sextile came in, it was right here, so it kind of like came in and kind of did a lot of damage. But this Neptune transit also did. But on the way out, on the upside of the Neptune transit, along with the upside of the semi-sextile, along with the upside of what this Uranus transit, in conjunction with this, you know, look at all these lines coming together, like in the same kind of way. What I think is interesting is these are up and down lines coming together. And then here at the end of this, Neptune is actually going to do what it did down here again, but by way of a retrograde. This is Neptune to the progressed Neptune. So it's like the in the Bitcoin chart, the progressed Neptune is like moving ultra slow, and in the transiting chart, it's moving much faster. All right, it's both of them are mad slow, but comparatively, this one's faster. So they've been separating like Bitcoin's entire life, because that's how the whole 12 years. They start out in alignment when it's incarnated, and then in the progress chart it actually moves too, but really slow. But the whole time this one's moving so much faster. Then all of a sudden they make a 30-degree angle, and that 30-degree angle was this down here, this point. Boom. And then as your Neptune keeps moving, it separates, all right? And as it separates, it should have a reverse action. It should go up. If it caused it to go down, it will What goes up must come down. What goes down must come up in this. I've noticed. And as it's separating here, then all of a sudden it's going to retrograde and it's going to go back. But keep in mind, not only is this going back at the point that it made that brought it down, it's going to go back faster because this planet is also moving in the same, like, at it at the same time. Now that it's first, it was kind of chasing it ever so slowly and poorly. Now it's like reversing back. So that means this angle right here is going to happen faster than it did before. It's all of a sudden going to happen like boom. So does that mean it's going to like drop harder? Or is it going to just, but because what's happening is actually a reverse of what was happening before. Last time it was a pulling away energy and it made it go down. Now it's going to be like a coming back together really fast. So that has a you know, not only a faster pace, but an inverse reaction. We could see a crazy spike right here. And at the same time, we have the release of a bunch of negative energies. Like this is a down arrow. That is a release of a negative energy. This, you know, and this right here, this has a weird plateau part that I put in. It's something to do with Saturn retrograde, probably. So yeah, I've noticed a lot of times, like, when a thing is an up triangle, right, and it's going like up, you know, it'll often like peak at the up part, even if it's like kind of like down here. Sometimes you'll see it like at the apex of something, you know, it'll just kind of like pop up to it, you know, because I've seen that. Like all of a sudden, I've seen it like pop up to a point, and I'm like, what's happened at that point? And at that point is like an exact point of a huge transit. And I'll see, where does that transit start? And it's like all the way back here. So you'll see that it actually has been like way below that top line the whole time. So that we could see that. We could see something like it's like do, and then come up here, and then come back down, and then come up here, and then skyrocket up, you know, something like that. But and then come back down and then hit right there again, or here, because honestly, like during the retrograde, if we look at back at other times when like I had, you know, it hits an exact point twice because two planets are kind of doing a dance, it kind of like will kind of variate wildly during that dancing period where they're like kind of like holding an angle and then like coming back at each other. And this could be that action right there. And it just it kind of returns to the same spot, though. Isn't that kind of interesting? And I've seen that before. I've seen it several times. We're currently still in a huge Pluto transit that actually got deleted. A chart that I had drawn before. It's in one of my previous videos that I made like a month or two ago, where I'm talking about Pluto, and it's going to be like, I'm like, Bitcoin's going to be like sideways for like a month or two, like between 50 and 60,000, and it was. Like only recently has it. That's kind of like why I've come back to Bitcoin. I was like, oh, whatever I said before a month or so ago has expired. Like I'm not looking continually at the angles. And I knew the Saturn retrograde was happening, so I was like, okay, get off your butt. I was obsessed with Dogecoin. Dogecoin was all the thing that was popular, so I'm just like, you know, if I want to get the searches, I got to be talking about and making videos about what's popular and people are going to be searching for. You know, I gotta get fans sometimes. Tell people, you know, tell people to subscribe to my channel if you like me. I tell everybody, like, this will become a self-fulfilling prophecy that I have. If I get everybody to follow the astrology when they make, you know, trades and stuff, then eventually we'll all be moving in sync, and nobody controls the sky. And think about it, nobody controls the sky. So if we all look at this kind of stuff that I'm doing, we're all going to be looking at the same exact thing and doing the same exact thing. Some of us will interpret things differently, maybe, but for the most part, it will be in sync. And then that will just all make it move exactly like it says. I'm telling you guys, like, this is what I say all the time when I talk to my friends about it. Astrology doesn't have to be real. Like, it can also just make you see things that you know are true. That you can't, like, emit are, or that you want to see, and But anyway, this is really cool. Look at all these things that are like converging here. Like to me, I'm just like, okay, that if the price is not like at fucking, I'm sorry, excuse my language. If the price is not like close to 50,000 June 7th, I don't know what I'm doing. Because like, why are all these lines like overlap there? Even when it's like down, all right. So I'm like, even if it's coming down, even if it like goes up, like I have a suspicion to believe like here it's gonna get like there's a lot of lines crossing here. This is like a strange stabilizing energy, whatever this is, because it seems to be like, look, I came in, it went up, but it came down right back to me when I hit exact. All right, and when I walk out of here, it's gonna be the same. you know, a lot of times those like a lot of times it likes to stick with those straight ones. It does, like the stabilizing energy ones. I've seen them before, but I don't know what on earth is gonna happen over here. I just feel like it's gonna be anywhere in the square, and it could actually be a little bit. And at the middle axis, I feel like at the middle axis and at the points. Oh, I almost feel like I should draw like a whole box here, like this, like another box around this cube, and being like, have no, it's good. I was like, it's gonna bounce around this entire box. Like who knows exactly when, where, and what. It would crash right here, all the way down to here. I mean, it could do that. Look at that. Maybe that actually makes that's the reason why this line comes down like this, because it's gonna crash here and then go up here, or it's just gonna come back up to this point. And this is just gonna be a parallelism to whatever crash happens. I was starting to think that because of that mystic rectangle, maybe this is going to be the new high, right? And this triangle right here should actually be here. You know what I mean? Like that's where it almost gets to 70,000. See, I'm kind of like postulating the worst case scenario for this transit right here. I'm like, well, I'm like, where is it gonna start? My lowest line that I have drawn already is down here. So if this transit is mirrored, it's the same exact kind of transit, Saturn square Uranus, as this one over here. If I give it the same sort of amplitude, this is what I'm trying to do, is I'm constantly trying to graph the amplitude of whether it's positive or negative of every transit and understand them and see how they overlap, because they all overlap. That's why the price is so wild, because cryptocurrency responds very strongly to astrology because it's decentralized. I haven't been able to do a full study on like if the differentiation between coins that are like less centralized, decentralized or not. Like for instance, I think like ones where like the programs and stuff like they burn stuff, or they the ones that have a cap or don't have a cap, or like they have like one or two people own the majority of the coins, like coins that can actually be manipulated very easily by a group of people or whatever, you know and they're not as like globally and like as traded on all markets as Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Like the more decentralized and free and organic kind of like this kind of value stock is, basically, the more it responds to like everything in astrology. Because that means it's not it's part of the grand pattern of shit. You know, it's just moving in sync. It's like the wind. We just happen to be like now betting on it. We're now betting on like some sort of digital, weather. I have like this idea where I'm gonna like make a green screen or something. I'm gonna start like I'm gonna stand in front of this and like say it's like the weather. I'm gonna be like weather girl. um, but let's see. Yeah. Regardless, I kind of like, unless like I find other things. I'm like, well, this is all there is to it. We're just going back where we are. We're back where we are in September. There's actually a bunch of things that I see. What is it? I think Saturn goes direct in October. So maybe that is kind of what happens. Like we have some more, like we have a bunch of like summer action and then a cooling period and then like fall kind of things get interesting and then we go into the winter and Bitcoin has its like birthday and then it's like, it's like high again. It's like 100,000. Who knows? Um, you kind of like don't know until you can kind of you can only see so far ahead with this stuff, with the way that I do it. Because I can't really draw that much of a line until I have lines to go off of, or I have price points to go off of. So it's like I have to have, like if I have an entering and an exact date and a price point that is reached for that date, that means I can draw half the triangle, and then that means I can draw the whole triangle. Because I know the whole triangle is very much a mirror of the first half. I mean, the whole triangle is very much the second half is a mirror of the first half. To get the whole triangle, there I said that right this time. But yeah, look at this. So we're talking about the first week of July. Look for something to kind of either start running up hard. Although I could, hey, it could also just be like, you know, yeah, not the first week of July, first week of June. First week of June, it could just run up hard, kind of like top here. See, we have because I have this like flat part. And I'm like, maybe this is a lot of flat. Even like below it is flat, and maybe this is just one little part where it kind of pops up and then goes right back down, and then we're down here, and then we finally get up. But we don't get up that high. We get up like here, you know. Or, once we get here, I have some more lines to draw. Some more things like Jupiter and Chiron and Mars transit. There's like so many things that happen all along the way. That's why I have to start these charts over again. They get so muddled with so many lines that I eventually start drawing, trying to add them all up, trying to see which ones are the most important, how each one plays into the whole equation. Because that's the thing. It's like they all kind of seem to, like the more of these lines I draw, the more like the price seems to want to just like, it kind of seems like it tries to figure out, it's like, how can I touch, is like, you're drawing so many lines, Sean, but how, I can't touch them all. It's actually literally impossible for me to like touch them all. How can I touch them all the most? It's what it likes to do. It's like they all correlate somehow. See, look at this. See, like I wonder, like what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen right here? It's got so many lines to go off of. But it seems to be there's like a lot of crossroads right here. You know? And then what, we got an angle. So it almost seems like it might, like the lowest point it could drop and still get here and follow one of these really sharp up lines is like here. So what, in about an hour, is it maybe going to be at 39 maybe, down here, and kind of catch this one back. Yeah, because we have, yeah, it kind of looks like it's going to get there and then come back down. And then we have some more right here that are going to kind of bring it up, and this kind of, but this one right here is bringing it down. And that's why I kind of adjusted it. I just had it higher. Let's see. Like I had it up here. Because I was like, I'm gonna put it in the middle of all these lines. But no, it looks like it's part of the worst case scenario in that whole like field. But I kind of do kind of see it kind of coming up. There's a lot of upward energy here. It's going to fight it. It's going to try and like break through it, I think, right here. It's like, well, it's going to try and break through it here. It's going to try and break through it here. But by here, it's going to be pulling it down hard. Even if it's like coming up here, it's just going to like boom and then come back up maybe to here. And then maybe up there, come down. And by this, it starts to come up more. Tops here maybe. Maybe right after it. This is a negative energy that's releasing. This is a funny one. And also here, this is another thing. There's a Mercury retrograde that happens like somewhere along here. I think on the 29th. Yeah. And that's the thing, like this correlates with a Mercury retrograde, right? Let's look at that. Let's change this to fixed. Let's see, where does the Mercury retrograde happen? Oh, I have this like the wrong time zone. Yeah. No. Where's Mercury? Little purple thing. There you go. I mean, is this still the progress chart? Oh wow, look at that. And that triangle happens after the Mercury retrograde to the natal chart. Interesting. And the sun is conjunct the north node. Yeah, the end of May. Look at that. That's kind of wild. I didn't even notice that before. Interesting. Where does the retrograde happen? I want to see. There we go. We're looking for that little purple guy to turn red. Their numbers are turn red. There we go. So we got 29th at basically 7 o'clock Eastern. All right, 29, 7 o'clock. Yeah. So Mercury, yeah. See, that's why that's where I have this going up. You know, and I just have it like going up at the same angle as this part of it going up. It's gonna make an exact point again. Maybe it goes up, but then also that mystic rectangle happens. And I have it somewhere around here. I love when those shapes like pop up. Like, where does that happen? Go back to that. Where was that? Why are we back where we are? I didn't see it. Alright, it's like at 10. Oh, it's after, I'm sorry. And then it shows up. Where you at? There you are. Where you hit exact. June 1st. This is what I'm telling you. Like at the beginning of June. Like things go down at the beginning of June. So we got June 17th. Right. I mean not June 17th, June 1st. It was like 17th hour. It's at 5 o'clock. So 5 o'clock on June 1st. And then we got 8 o'clock on the 30th. So we got 8 o'clock on the 30th. Alright. And that's what we got here, alright? So we could be like anywhere along here. And then to June 1st. Let's see. 17, 5 o'clock. Alright. You can see, there we go. Like, look at that. Maybe that's that freaking thing, you know? Maybe it's like, it goes here, you know? Like that's, like, look at all that. Like, that's very correlating to some sort of very crazy positive energy that also is charted there, you know? When was the last time something like that happened? You know? Never. No, not never. I mean, but like a long, long time ago. Like, we might have to go back years, right? It takes the no, because it takes the nodes. It would be like 9 years or something like that. It would be reverse. It would be like the other nodes would have been on that side. Because Bitcoin isn't old enough for that exact thing to happen. Oh my goodness. It's early. Um, but like, yeah, let's look. Where are we at? Last time you were, no, 2008. What am I looking for? I'm looking for basically, all right, look the south node in Gemini instead, basically. Yeah, here we go. 2012. Interesting. Interesting. This is what I always say. I'm always like, interesting. Everything is so interesting. There we go. 2012. This is called deep Bitcoin research. All right, so we got February 10th, 2012. Like, what happened in February? So, Bitcoin. What did it say? February 10th, 2012. February 10, 2012. Well, in August, the price doubled. $7. Let's see. It's like Bitcoin price history. Let's see. 2015, 2015, 2013 was a decisive year. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so Bitcoin bottom. So Bitcoin was like $1 in 2011, and then it was up to $32 in the middle of 2011. Then it crashed back down to $2. Marginal improvement the following year, and the price had risen from 4. However, all right. Let's see. No, 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 no. I want to know what happened on that day. I don't know if this is just gonna tell me how far back can you go here on this thing. Let's look ranges. Let's look month. I need to see how far back does this data go. Okay. So let's go all the way down. All the way down. All the way down. Alright. All the way down. Okay. All the way down. You know, the most surprising thing is the when you go down really far, you know, the further you go down, the more you start to see that things don't look that different. Right? Now, we look at a day. Ah, reset me. There we go. See, look at this. When you get back there, you're just like, oh, you know, these are kind of similar. Yeah, see, look at this. So what is this? You know, what's going on here? Wow, look how boring it used to be. February, what did I say, 10th? Hmm. Yeah, it is a very modest time here, isn't it? Look at this day. It's interesting. See, you see how like it doesn't like respond a lot to anything. It's because back here, you know, it's just not like. I mean, this was like the day though. This was like the true day. My goodness. I mean, like, look at it. At this point in time now, it just kind of looks like it does now, right? Like comparatively, you look at this the history of the stock, and you're just like, I call it stock. Um, history of this currency, and you're just like, this looks like it's like you could just like if you didn't know, if you weren't looking at the year, you would think you were looking in the months. You would think you were looking at like a current time, you know? Like this just you know this looks like just like 2017. That's all it looks like. But we're like we're down in the hundreds of dollars. Look at this. This is stupid, you know? You look at it again. Okay. Now it's 2013. But it's like this is what I keep telling people. I feel like the key thing to this whole market, everybody doesn't like the volatility, but I feel like that's the true magic to it. Like the same volatility exists in it. Like once it's like activated, like like you even see that with the coins after they blow up. They get like activated. They kind of like don't have a lot of response to hardly anything. But all of a sudden, then like the first time they blow up, now they're like activated, and now they start to respond wildly to stuff. You know. And when you compare them to the astrology, it really starts to like make more sense. And you can't really divulge a lot of information because the triangles are kind of all kind of flat. You know, it's like they're not going to do anything. But once you get a heavy triangle in there, then it starts like causing all the triangles to start being like you get, you know, and because they're not really controlled by any one entity, you know, you start to get, yeah, but a lot of people step out of the market at times. Like during this whole time, everybody was like, "Nah, screw crypto," you know. But there are some people still kind of like doing stuff with it, so it still has, you know, when you kind of really zoom into it, you're like, "Oh, yeah, it kind of does have like still a lot of like up and down." I haven't actually gone really deep and like studied a lot of like recurring transits like this. So I really should. And you see, then you get like this, you're just like, "Oh, like what is this?" You know, this looks like, you know, you look at this and you're just like, "Oh, this is like the space. This looks exactly like the space in between 2017 and now." You know what I mean? Like, let's look at it. You know, am I wrong? You know, 2019 had a spike. Yeah, and now we're like fucking. I keep cursing. I'm sorry. And now we're like, now we're like way high. And look at this. Look if I do this nonsense. Almost like you can do stuff that looks. Hmm. I don't like that thing. What was the other thing that I used before? I like this one. This one's fun. Like I like to go to points right where it goes up, like maybe like here, and then do like that, right? And that's kind of interesting. It's like you almost could have looked at the point where it like went down and then shot back up really fast, and it almost will tell you. You know, it's crazy when you look at things like that, because then you're just like, oh, okay, so you're telling me like, yeah, this basically says, it says 100,000. What is it, 2020? Is it 2024? And that's the bottom of the thing. Could be, goodness. I like playing with this thing too much. This is what I call this rainbow graphic. Let's see here. If we make it so from here, let's put the high there. Yeah. Ah! It's like, where do you put it? Where do you put it? I just like looking at like, okay, there we go. Um, that point to that point. And see, look at how look at how it kind of like sections it. I like playing with this in the overlapping colors. Now I was doing this with the Dogecoin chart for some reason. I was playing with this tool, and I noticed like a bunch of like the color lines like coalesce on the 19th. And I remember talking about that in a video and being like, guys, there's a Saturn retrograde gonna happen on the 23rd, and you hear all these like weird lines coalescing on the 19th. And then it fell on the 19th. Bitcoin did anyway, and so did everything else. But it was funny. I was like looking at the Dogecoin chart, and I would like to say I like Dogecoin mostly, and I invested in it way back at 5 cents. Wish it would have been way earlier, but I wasn't really studying it astrologically until then. And I was like, it has a lot of good angles with the Bitcoin chart. That means like whatever happens with Bitcoin is going to happen to Dogecoin, like either inversely or directly. Let's go. Let's go for it. I like that. I like that. And it was right. I do not see that coin going below like 20 cents or anything. I think it went to 25 or something, So I'm like, there we go. I at least quadrupled that money. Look at that. I like how that happens. Look at that. And it kind of goes along with this. See? correlations, synchronizations. And then you have this right here. It's like that's a bottom. See how they overlap perfectly like that? And I put these. Oh, whoa! What just happened? There we go. And see how did I put the little tool points? All right, we'll put this point here. And I put its other little point there. My point is like make weird overlaps at like specific little points. Like see when I like that's a go up and then I come back down. All right, that's a bunch of little old little tops there. Got a little high. Same. Like I just like for it to section interesting parts with the colors. Because it has a logic. It has like a fractalization that it uses in some kind of way. You know. Then you use it and use the thing again. Let's use it again. Let's do it again. Let's kind of do the same thing. Let's go here. Yeah. Kind of encapsulate all that. I feel like that's way too optimistic. This needs to be like, let's put it like here. Right? Put that like here and then bring it down like. Ah, the stupid button's in the way. Ah. Alright. Yeah, see, look at that. All the green part is in there. Let's see, what else do we put it here? Like, I want to put it in a place where it like looks like where I'm putting it in like points that make sense. What about here? This last high there. And then what? And then with like there and there. They're like, see, that's two interesting points, right? There we go. Like I'm forcing it to like show me something interesting. I am. But I'm trying to be like when I force it to show me something interesting, I'm like, can I get to do that while picking 2 points that have like meaning in the graph? Like see, like that's a little peak. And this is like a weird little part where it like almost peaked but didn't and went up. And that correlates with this and with that, you know. There's even like a crossing there at the full moon. Where we seem to have like that's exactly what it's doing too at the full moon. It was like going up and it kind of like was like me. It looks like it could have decided to go either way and chose to go down. I don't know. I think I'm like making this video extra long for no reason. But then what's nice actually is I like to come over here and be like, oops. Okay, I drew all these like colors. You know, and how does that fit in with my little story that I'm like weaving? Ah, lock all the drawing tools. Lock them. I'm tired of moving them. I want them to move. Yeah, see? When you get this action, when you get like, look, this whole like, you know, that makes sense. You know, look how I kind of section this area. I love that tool. I just love it's colorful and fun and illuminates information to me. And see, it's like see this whole colored area, the way it overlap those angles, kind of created like this is the area where it's kind of wacky. This high yellow is kind of like where it's gonna struggle to get higher. The green area is gonna be like where it's like safe to buy. It's not gonna go much lower. You know. And here we see that. Here we see. Look at that. I have a strange feeling. Like, July, between July 11th, 12th, 13th, maybe 10th, maybe around there. But at the same time, I also like think, like I said, I have this theory where like those angles happen fast at each other, and you go whoosh, because it's a retrograde and a direct at each other. you know. You know, and this is very probable because what is this? This keeps us doing what? Where does this basically project? Everybody talks about 100,000, and just put this at like 100,000. I can't see the date, but end of next year. Hmm. Oh man, have I babbled on enough about this enough? Do you guys get what I'm saying? I'm probably just gonna upload this video and then maybe go back and edit it. I don't know. Cut all that last stuff out. I'm like, hey guys, do you want to just like watch me play with this tool? I tried to give all the critical information in the beginning. Yeah, look at that. First week of June. First week of June. Middle of June. End of June, beginning of July. These are also more of the new moon, full moons. I mean, because like every 14 days, so we got like, you know, what is it gonna be on the 10th? We're gonna get a new moon. All right, we're gonna get a new moon on the 10th. Right there. That's new moon. New moons are usually lows, right? So like what? It goes up here on the 3rd. Didn't I say something on the 3rd? Um, and then down on the 10th. You know, new moon. You buy on new moon. Then it goes up, and then full moon. You know, on what, the 20? Yeah, that would be another full moon right there, right? So we got full moon, and then new moon. Look, there's down part. Okay, look at that. It's down. This is probably gonna bring it down there. Go up. Go, you know, up here maybe. I don't know. And then down here on new moon, and then up here on full moon again. And then what? And then it'll be, you know, down on a full moon. I mean on a new moon. And then like maybe it's at the end of this. It goes up on the full moon again. This whole area, I'm just like, this is a wild card. This is what I'm saying. Like you can make a top anywhere. Like once, see, look at this. As this area right here gets bigger, I start to see the probability of a new high, or retest, as they would call it. And see right here, we have this guy. And then I say this one right here. Where would it be if it had a better case scenario? Like if it were, oh, unlock the drawing tools. Right, here you go. If it was actually up here, you know, look at that. See, it gets almost up there. Yeah, maybe it's even higher here. Maybe it's like there. Okay. I really need to go back and sleep. Or I need to make more coffee. I think y'all get the picture. I hope I'm right. This would be so cool if I'm right. I'm gonna be wrong. I'm gonna be so wrong. I'm gonna be so wrong. Everybody's gonna be like, Sean, you have no idea what you're talking about ever. This is all stupid. But I'll be like, I saw the sign. Opened up my eyes and I was happy. And something behind you, me, something. You know, the song Ace of Base. Okay. Quit your stupid video. You're looking dumb now. Bye.